Assalamu alaikum. I'm here with another board game review, and today I'll be telling you that why you should play Tiny Acrobats. Tiny Acrobats is a smaller or express version of Meeple Circus, which came in a bigger box. This is a smaller box with more simplified components while keeping the same kind of gameplay, more simplified rules, more simpler rules, but you can have the same kind of game with this one, which is essentially a stacking game in real time. Real time games are always going to be very difficult for people who are time intensive, and not going to be for everyone, but this is a fun one and it's a quick one, so even if they are performing bad, it's going to be over very quickly. Essentially what you are going to do is, as the name indicates, that you are acrobats in a circus and you are going to do these tricks to make people laugh, and these tricks are going to be indicated on the demand card which are presented on the board. You will be placing your score tracker outside for the time being. On the score track, every player will be having those. They will all start with 3 of their acrobats and a ball. That's the starting items that they have. But then there are going to be demand cards of the different kind of tricks that the people want to see. Or you're going to get additional components is going to be through this deck. What the game default rule says is that each player gets randomly drawn a card, and accordingly they are going to get the components. So for example, I'm going to get, based upon the card of the items, I'm going to get an elephant, a horse, and a purple acrobat, and these are the additional components. So each card is going to represent 3 different kind of things which you're going to add to your pool to indicate what additional items you're going to get. What I do recommend is that instead of just getting randomly a card, these get displayed on the table. So based on number of players, you always display +1 or at least equal to the number of players, and then they get to draft one of these cards, so that actually they have some control of what components they want to do, because in the next round you will be again drafting more components, and you don't want to be drafting 2 elephants or 2 horses because you only need one for your tricks. So the default rules of the game have slight kind of problems, but you can easily fix them by a house rule that no, we are going to just display as many number of players +1, and then people are going to draft based on what they actually want, and keep track of who is the current starting player. They always get to draft first, and then the next round the starting player changes. Now let's say this is what I had drafted. Now I'm going to have a look and see what are the different tricks that I can do. So for example, I'm not starting the timer right now, I'm just showing you that what are the different kind of tricks that there might be. So some tricks are going to require acrobat on acrobat. There are 6 categories and there are 6 different kind of tricks that you are going to do based upon the components. You might not be able to do some of these tricks at all, plus some of these tricks you might have an option because you are limited by the number of acrobats that you have, so you have to select which one you want to do. Ideally you want to do as many tricks as possible with the same kind of component, so if you can combine the tricks together, that's going to be even better, but you have to do all of them in real time. So for example, this trick is an acrobat on top of an acrobat, so something like this. If you can stack them together, that acrobats are standing on acrobat, then you are going to complete this order. The other trick that the people want to see is that the horse is laying down and an acrobat is actually climbing on top of it. But as I said, if you can combine, now I have used my cards, but if I was doing this and this all together, let me try. I cannot do it, but if I was able to stack it, then that might be it. Well, the elephant trick is easy. They just want an elephant upside down. That's one of the tricks. Another trick they want to see is that on a barrel a person is laying down. I don't have a barrel right now in my components, I cannot do it. Then another trick requires a stick, which I don't have, so I cannot do it. The third trick, the fourth trick that they want to see is two people balancing a ball in between them. So like this. So now comes the choice. I can do tricks like this, but my horse doesn't have another meeple on top of it that they can perform a trick. Now let me try if I can do something like this. Now I will stand back. So I have completed my trick, and if I was able to do this even, I dropped it all. Leave it. So anyway, so what I would have been able to do is, my elephant was going down, that's one trick that I was able to do. My horse had a man, so that's second trick. Then two people carrying a ball, that's third trick. And a man on a man, so that's fourth trick. I was able to do the fourth trick. Plus, whoever is able to actually say ta-da and do the trick the fastest and say I'm done, or they back off, then they get to take this additional one as well, which is the fastest timer card, that they are able to perform that trick the fastest. That counts as an additional trick as well. So once anybody says ta-da, so I completed, let's say, 4 tricks. I wasn't the fastest because I took a lot of time. I was able to 4. Then there is a scoring guide provided. So if you are able to take do 4 tricks, then that's equal to 10 points. So I will be getting 10 points. But if anything falls and the timer goes off, you get nothing. Well, I would still be getting the score for this elephant because it's still upside down. So that's also one of the things. So that's how much applause. This is the applausometer. So that's how much applause I'm going to get. Another thing that I'm going to check is that how high my contraption was. So the two people on top of a horse or elephant, that was going to be high as well. So this is the measurement that you use for the height. Right now everything fell and my highest structure is either the horse or the elephant. Well, they are still in the 0 range. If something was on top of it, so for example, if my man on a man, so these things are not as easy as they look. You need very stable hands to make that happen. So for example, if this was my contraption, then it is reaching level 5 applausometer here. So whatever was my score, I will be adding 5 in it, and that's how much additional score I will be getting on the applausometer. And that's how I'm going to do the scoring. In the next round, you're going to keep all your previous components, plus you're going to reveal one new card and whatever are the additional things. So maybe if you're using the drafting, I will be trying to get one of these sticks as well as the barrel and maybe another pink purple acrobat, and this is the card I will draft so that I can have more variety of things to do. The demand cards are going to change as well. So all of these cards will be removed and new tricks will be revealed from underneath, that now what's the new demand. So you don't have to perform the same tricks over and over. New demand cards are going to be revealed from underneath. What are the new tricks that the people are interested to see? Old tricks will be removed from the game, and you proceed ahead with round 2 in the same fashion. You're going to then do the tally of the scores for round 2. Then comes round 3, which is going to have slightly different rules, because by that time these cards will be running out, these components would have run out. What will actually then come in the round 3 are your superstar performers, which are going to be either wild animals or special acrobats that are going to come, and there are these cards for them. So these cards are going to give you some kind of special animals. So for example, the special animals would be things like, well, the monkeys, the bear, the seal, even camels, lions, and then there are some special acrobats like the strongman, Tarzan, there's tiger also, the clown, the balance beam girl, another monkey, the white gymnast, and her trusty stick. Now each of them are going to have some kind of special. Once you get these tricks, you're going to have a look at the back side, and that's going to tell you what are the, it's normally going to represent two tricks or one, mostly two, which you can do to actually get more score, and the score is actually given on the top as well. So for example, if you perform this trick, this is going to give you 4. So the lion wants to stand on a barrel if you are able to do, or you have to put one of your acrobat's head inside the lion's mouth. If you do that, then you get 4 score. So the wild animals are more simple. The more fun comes with these special acrobats. So let me show you what they are going to do. For example, the strong man wants that everything should be built on top of it. So if you are able to at least put 4 things on top of the strong man, he's picking them up, then it might be better. And you might be using, for example, a beam and then putting a barrel on it, and then putting maybe a man on it, and then another man on it. So maybe you're doing things like this. By stacking them, you want to achieve maximum height for additional height points, as well as achieve the goal of this one. Now what the clown wants to do is kind of opposite. He wants to stand on the top, but also at the same time, before you are able to score him, well, let's say he was here, he needs to have a certain height. Before you are able to score him, he wants to fall down to make people laugh. So before every scoring gets done, you have to flick him off your structure without making anything else fall. And if you are able to do, then you get the scores for the clown. The balance beam girl wants to balance other acrobats on its 2 sides. So maybe you balance that out. Then this girl is going to be difficult. She wants to balance on top of a stick, but of course you have to balance the stick at the bottom. Tarzan wants to go on the top, and you have to say oh, things like that. And one of the fun things is this green acrobat who wants to go on a seesaw, and what you have to do is flick it and catch it. If you are able to catch it, then you get the score. So for example, and you catch it and you get the score. So in this way, the third round is going to have some kind of acrobats, physical things that you have to perform as well, other than just making structures, and you win the game, or well, you get points for performing that trick. In the end, you will tally the score and see who wins the game. And that's what Tiny Acrobat said. It's a very simple stacking game, but contains a lot of laughs, very simple to explain. If you want a quick stacking game for stable hands, but not very serious thing which people can just enjoy in a short time, then I can highly recommend Tiny Acrobats or Meeple Circus. You can not go wrong either way. I'll recommend both the versions. With some modification, Tiny Acrobats plays just like Meeple Circus, but with more simplified rules and a cheaper price point as well. So if you enjoy these kind of silly party games, then Tiny Acrobat is sure going to be a hit. That's it for me. Happy gaming!